17 seconds of this. Anyway. So, yeah, so you're here, and that's fucking exciting. You can leave them on. I don't care.
No, I'd rather not listen to myself.
Well, okay, that's fine. Let me just say them real quick, because I have a fascination with, hearing how everything's going to sound. And I'm an obsession, maybe. But
Well, I'm glad you do.
yeah, it's problematic. So, anyway, yeah, I'm fucking stoked that you're here, because you're my best friend in the entire world, and I'm not sure how that happened or why.
I know. It's been a long road.
It really has been, and it's been super strange. Like, there's not really any reason for that to have happened, you know?
Well, and us becoming friends was rather happenstance, too. It wasn't like, oh, we went to school together or anything, because we definitely didn't. So it was just a very strange coming together, I suppose.
And it came all from coming. No, I'm just
Not
kidding.
at all.
You dated a friend of mine for a while, which was actually you dated episode 3.
I did.
Yeah, that's exciting. Hey, Jim. That's indeed how we met, was through Jim and through you guys dating, you working at the movie. I found out you worked at the movie theater, and that was back when I think I must have owned a car at that point. I can't remember, but I was just roaming around. I was like, "Oh, go to the movie theater, meet Jim's girlfriend. It'll be awesome."
Yeah, and I think that was the tail end of my tenure there, too. I was there for about a year and a half, and shortly after I started dating Jim, I left the movie theater and went to work at FYE with him.
Yeah, all the cool kids worked at FYE, and I was certainly not cool enough to know anything about music or how to work retail.
I didn't fully know anything either. You just kind of go with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that seems like one of those things. It's not specialized like a comic book store. So you're like, whatever. It's just a retail shop. Come in and buy our garbage.
Yeah.
Just come in and buy our shit. We don't care. You don't have to be super, super knowledgeable.
In fact, one of the funny things that I remember there is, when you think about working at a record store, or, and I use that term loosely when putting it with FYE, but I will never forget. You always think that you're going to have these people coming in and asking you these really obscure questions about, all this music and whatnot. But I don't remember any of that. What I remember is these white trash couples coming in and wanting a copy of Dominic the Donkey at Christmas time.
What? Who is Dominic?
You've never heard Dominic the Donkey?
No.
The Italian Christmas donkey? You'll have to look it up.
I will.
You'll never get it out of your head.
I was going to say, what did Dominic the Christmas donkey do? Did he
I don't even remember, but I will never forget people coming in and asking for that. That and Miley Cyrus.
That's so
when
weird.
It was Hannah Montana. That all blew up at the time that I was there.
Oh, God. That's so. I was gonna say that's
so
another
gross. Crazy train.
She's. I was gonna say she's a boatload of crazy, but a boatload of fun crazy, I guess.
Yeah, well, and she's toned down in the recent years.
She did that thing, where everybody had certain expectations for her and all that. She was the next Disney kid and all that, and then she was Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter, so she's gonna stand out behind a trailer and sing Jolene for me and satisfy my every need.
Have you ever heard her version of Jolene?
I did, actually.
It's pretty good.
And I agree, but my entire thing with that is everybody. That breaks down into the self-service aspect of everything. Everybody has their own expectations, and everybody has their expectations of everyone else, but they never meet them. And it's just because they don't meet them doesn't make them terrible people.
Right.
You shouldn't hate your kid because he's not getting A's. You should hate your kid because he's trying to knock somebody up at 14.
Right. Yeah.
You shouldn't hate your kids at all. That's a joke. You and I hold a rapport that is very uncomfortable, and this is gonna get fucking weird.
Oh, I'm sure.
And but that's the thing is people were freaking out because she did that Jolene cover right after she had her ass cheek out on that
on the VMAs or something?
The VMAs or whatever.
When she was twerking on a teddy bear?
Yeah, and I was like, well, yeah, of course she's going to do that because that's what you expect of her, and that's her way to regain favor. And it's she doesn't care. She doesn't care whether you're satisfied or not. Somebody was like, oh, she should just do a full album of Dolly Parton covers.
No.
She should continue to be a weirdo because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is that typical child star persona, I didn't get to grow up a normal life or whatever. So, as I continue to age, I'm going to rebel and do all this crazy shit because I don't know what else to do with my life because mine wasn't normal. So I think she did all of that ridiculous stuff. I don't know if she needed the attention or what. And I think now she's getting to a point where either she's cut back on the drugs or she's realized that, I don't need to do this to stand out, I guess.
Well, with all that happened, all that I've learned about the music industry through books and stuff like that, whatever she does, whatever any star does, is 100% planned
Oh,
to the fucking
guaranteed.
detail.
Guaranteed.
Like, it's such a like, and that's the thing that blows my mind is like people will herald that kind of excitement and like, oh look, they're being so bizarre right now and this and that and the other. It's like, yeah, but it's super planned. So
Yeah.
it's not fun. Like there's no reason for you to be excited when Lady Gaga does weird shit because like Klaus Nomi and the 80s were so much better for that kind of like on stage weirdness.
Right.
And it was in my personal opinion, like the 80s were way better than that. But like she wears a meat dress. Oh, okay, well, a PR firm sat for 6 months to figure out how to fucking make that work.
Yeah, because she was still on her way into, TVs and into radios and things like that. So she needed to make a name for herself. And what better way than to be completely outlandish?
Yeah.
Because everybody talked about it. And boom, she's now this huge household name and selling out stadiums. And she's toned it all down and she's back to essentially a normal human being.
Yeah, well, she did. I was going to say, and then everybody did that whole like, oh, well, she was part of that Tony Bennett benefit album or whatever. And it's like, well, that's great, but
apparently she's really great friends with him now.
Yeah, she should be, and she should have been to begin with. She was like a Christian pianist
Yeah.
when she started, and I think my friend Max pointed that out. He's like, she used to just sit in a mall with a piano and sing hymns. And
Right.
like, well, that is kind of weird, isn't it? But like that has that whole like Jersey thing. I bought a book of philosophy. It's Bruce Springsteen's philosophy after being in Jersey and slightly going from despising New Jersey in general because of driving there to like, oh, New Jersey's pretty cool actually. And then I bought his book and there's that whole like Jersey thing. I just don't get it. Like Jersey loves Tony Bennett. Jersey loves Bruce Springsteen because he's
it's like a whole separate culture in that state. I don't know.
But at the same time, like there's so many different like small countries in New Jersey that like, okay, you get down in the south and like out in the plain fields in the barrier islands like Wildwood, Cape May, all that stuff. You're like, oh, this is just a place that time forgot in 1955, and we have these tiny hotels that are silly, and oh, it's got that charm. And then you get up into the middle, and it's like, all right, well, this is just a stop on the drug express between New York City and Philadelphia, so enjoy whatever happens to you in Camden. Yeah, come down for our coffee. Stay for the bullet holes.
Right.
And then you get up farther north into like Orange County, New Jersey, Orange, New Jersey, West Orange, up above Newark. Not even that far above Newark. Like it's a beautiful rural setting.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's like when you drive 2 hours west out of New York City and you end up back in 1942,
right
up by the Finger Lakes. Like, it's so weird. And me being on the road all the time, I'm never able to actually go and explore. But when I had the opportunity to go walk and go spend a week in Wildwood, Jersey's really pretty and really beautiful. But at the same time, I don't quite value that whole thing the way people do.
Yeah, I think one of these days I'll have to try and give New Jersey a chance, and I don't know if I'm going to irritate people with this because I know some people, you either love or hate Jersey, but I have always kind of looked at New Jersey, like whenever I'm driving through, now granted it's typically to Atlantic City or somewhere of the sort, and it's all industry and ugly, and then you get to Atlantic City, which is a hot mess in itself. And my last experience in Atlantic City, I went there with good intentions and it ended up being a complete train wreck. So I think it's kind of further ruined my idea of New Jersey.
Was that the time that you sent me a postcard from Atlantic City?
Yeah, I luckily remembered to send you one on our way out.
Yeah, it's not like that time you went to, what was it, North Carolina or Virginia on a trip and then forgot to address it?
Yeah, that was Fredericksburg.
Fredericksburg.
Yes.
Is that down off 15? Is that really beautiful little town in the woods that has like a promenade in the middle of town?
Ooh, I don't think so. Okay, I'm not sure. It was a super cute little town. We went down. It was like a 2-day quick trip. We did an Airbnb, and this lady had a horse farm, and she had a whole show arena and everything, and she converted one of the spots in the barn into a full cedar apartment, and it was awesome.
Wow. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we stayed there, and it was August. It was very hot. We walked around a little bit, as much as we could take, because again, you're further south, so it's very hot and humid. But yeah, it was beautiful there. But yes, we bought you a postcard, and we were sitting literally on the sidewalk trying to fill it out, and we got totally distracted. And here's why we forgot to put the address on it. A, because we very rarely send postcards. They're kind of a dying thing. But B, the most important part was there was a corgi that was hooked up to a wheelchair, like its back legs didn't work, and it came scooting towards us, and we were completely distracted by this adorable dog and forgot to address the postcard. I even chased down the mailman to get it in the mail.
Yeah, that's totally acceptable because I would be distracted by that too. I got distracted by something yesterday and forgot. I think I forgot my paperwork or something. I wasn't paying, like, just something little just flashed in my head, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna pay attention to that, and it totally fucked me up.
Yeah,
by like 2 hours. Like, it was one of those ripples that you hit, like, because we're all old now and we do like super rigid scheduling and all that, and I was like, oh shit, I forget what I was gonna. Oh, I saw a shirt that I really wanted to go downtown for. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I saw it, and I called Katie, and I was like, oh, as soon as I get home from work, I'm coming across Philadelphia in the truck. I'll jump on the motorcycle. We can go downtown the first Friday and grab this shirt. And then I found out how much the shirt was, and I was like, forget that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that totally threw off my entire day.
Speaking of which, I heard First Friday was huge last night. I didn't make it down myself, but
I think the expectation is that it's the last one that's going to be like tepid weather.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what I was thinking too.
In there.
Well, and it's nice to see that it continues to grow. I mean, with downtown, it over the last year or two, it's really started to balloon, and I'm pretty excited about that.
I am too, because it really does afford us more opportunity. And I know, like, the biggest thing that everybody said, because I've been sober for 3 years or whatever now, and it's like that was my biggest complaint was like, okay, well, I'm on a strict diet and I'm sober. I don't need to come down for a microbrewery or a restaurant.
Right.
Like, that's not serving me any purpose. But now it seems like somebody had pointed out, oh, that's what they do to get people to actually come in, and then from there they build up. And they have built up a good amount. Like, the Goodrich Center is finally open. That's a prior Underground Railroad house.
Oh, wow.
In Philadelphia. It's up above. It's east of the.
Is that the one that we were all going to go do a tour for and didn't?
We were going to go do the tour, and then we didn't make it because my schedule is like not my schedule's not stringent.
Well, that night got a little off track, anyways.
Yes, that was a really good night actually.
That was a fun night.
That was June's first Friday, I think.
I think so.
That's silly because one of the people that went with us, her mom's name is June. But yeah, no, that was a really good night because and it did really open my eyes to the fact that, like, oh, you don't have to come down here and get blasted with everybody else. You can experience all kinds of cool stuff. Somebody was throwing pottery out in front of the art place. Bought soap, of course, at Sunrise. Right. That's the thing you always do.
Well, and you walked down and got books, too.
Yes, of course I did.
Yeah, so, surprise.
Yeah, I was going to say, I need to do something about it because, like, I got to the point where I've got books stacked up on the floor, and that's not acceptable. But I was also in the middle of cataloging.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the organization is key, and you'll be good.
I was getting there, but nothing makes any sense, and nothing would be a big enough section for me to be like, oh, this is my nature section. It's
right.
It's $4. Like,
yeah,
it's just gonna bleed into something else, like women's lit or Black history or history. So,
yeah, you have quite a collection of that now. I saw.
Oh yeah, no, I went crazy.
I saw.
It was the TR book section. It was $5.
Yeah,
whatever.
Can't beat it.
That giant stack was $10.
That's amazing.
I filled a huge tub full of books for $10. I don't know, just can't not do it.
Yeah.
Now I got to read them. But
yeah,
I'm getting there.
Did you say you're going to read and record them so you can listen to them later?
Yes. Because I was going to say, now personally, like that's the whole learning structures are different for everybody. Mm-hmm. But for me personally, if I speak something, I always remember it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If I speak it or write it, or if I'm reading it, like for instance, like with lyrics, I can listen to a song 5 times and not remember much of the lyrics. But if I listen to it twice and I'm looking at the lyrics while I'm listening to it, I can remember them.
Yeah.
So much easier.
It's so weird like that. And and with those are all I think they're all public domain. So whatever, I'll just record them. I don't give a shit. I'll spend the time. I'm going to spend the time doing it anyway.
Right.
If I read silently, I don't remember anything.
Yeah, I'm terrible with remembering stuff like that.
I'm such a fan of audiobooks because I'm and everybody's like, oh, well, audiobooks are lazy. No. I just drive a shitload and I retain more information that way.
Yeah, for your lifestyle. If you're on the road all the time, I mean, obviously you shouldn't be reading a book behind the wheel, but you can at least listen to one.
You shouldn't be, and I've seen that before, and it's always weird to
I'm sure.
pass by somebody and just like
Yeah.
you're reading the New York Times. That's not what we do behind the wheel.
Right. But texting and driving is the devil.
Yeah, texting and driving is the worst thing in the entire world. But like you're watching somebody smash a hoagie into their face,
Right.
like they're trying to get themselves pregnant with it. And you're like, yeah, maybe cell phones aren't really that big a deal.
Right.
Maybe we should stop people from jamming footlongs all the way down in their lungs. Like, yeah, that could be distracted driving.
A little bit.
Yeah, you're raising a hand to your kids in the back. Like, yeah, that's probably distracting you too. That's one thing that always bothered me too, is that like they made texting and driving the biggest deal in the entire world. And I just saw whatever, there's a new billboard that's like text and die. The autocorrect is die over
Oh my gosh.
or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And they keep doing these big campaigns and shit. But there's no affectation on a common driver.
Right.
To like stop you from doing that. If if I have a phone in my hand and I get pulled over in my truck, it's a $2,800 fine and a loss of my career.
Oh my word.
Like that's no joke.
Wow.
And that's federal policy.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody's going to text and drive because they're not facing something like that.
Right.
You know, it kind of makes you feel weird for being the professional, and I understand that professionals should be paying attention. That's
right.
true.
Yeah.
You should be too. Like,
Oh yeah.
That's always been like, not to run off on a diatribe, but that's the thing is like whatever stringent standards I have, they should be always a little more stringent, but at the same time, the testing for a driver's license, the consistency and all that, like they should be a little more high penalization on the driver's license because nobody's ever going to take it serious.
Right.
You know, and they're like, you know, I ride with aggressive drivers and I just want to pull them over, take them out of the car and never let them drive again because there's no reason to be that way.
Yeah. Well, I know Pennsylvania just passed laws to be more stringent on penalties for first-time DUI offenders. Oh. So I think you have the ability to get ignition interlock immediately. Like it's a requirement. You either get that or you lose your license for 6 months, I think it said. Right. Whereas before, you kind of got a slap on the wrist. You might lose your license for 6 months and then you were good. And then a second offense would require the interlock. But now it's first offense. Either you lose it totally or you have to get the interlock.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's good that they're making strides to at least crack down on that a little bit because I don't think people take that seriously enough. And I know at times I haven't.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, no. And I was going to say, and I hate to harp on that because I know that that is such a common mistake. You either have kids in this county or you have a DUI.
Right.
And no offense to anybody that I know that like, look, this is one thing that does drive me crazy is that I drive past a billboard or an electric sign that says be a hero, be a designated driver, when reasonably it should say take up for yourself, pay attention to what you're doing.
Right.
Like,
well, and be responsible.
Yeah. Like the personal responsibility of it is like, oh, well, I can't find a designated driver and taxis don't come all the way out here and I'm just going to drive home and I got it. And it's like, no, I only have 4 beers. I don't care. Like, that is one of the most frustrating things. Like, okay, well, 0.08, that's what you got. I get a 0.04. That's my new with having a Class A is like, I can't blow over 0.04. That's nothing.
Right.
That's a beer.
Yeah.
You know, especially at this size. Like, I can't drink a beer and get behind the wheel. So the expectation that everybody has, like, oh, I'm going to hammer down a half a case of Budweiser and go for a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the best idea.
When you get picked up and those lights are flashing, I don't feel bad for anything that happens.
Yeah. Well, and the whole, I don't want to leave my car somewhere, yada, yada. Okay, well, with Uber and Lyft and all of that now, the taxi excuse is out the window. Uber and Lyft aren't terribly expensive at all. I mean, I've never personally used them, but I've heard nothing but good things. And, there's no cash exchanged. So really, there's no reason why people should be reckless with it.
Yeah. And I think it's just like, it's one of those things where it's just the rigor of mature adulthood. It's just one way to lash out. And whether it's subconscious or not, you want to lash out and you do. And then when you do, it's like, okay, well, if you take a risk, it's super, like, take $100 out of your last paycheck of the month when you don't have any bills and go gamble at the casino. Like, okay, that's a risk and it's fun and it's exciting because you might hit it, whatever. But when you take that risk and you say, I got this, the risk is not just you wrapping your car around a tree.
Right.
It's you hammering your lifted 4x4 into a fucking van full of people.
Right.
Which I've heard of before.
Or into someone's house.
Yeah. Like, I was going to say, that happened in Maryland. Somebody in a lifted pickup truck driving home is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He slammed into a van of full family, 4 kids. And 4 kids and a husband and wife. They all died.
Jeez.
And it's like, what are you doing drinking at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah.
You know? It just, that stuff, like, it drives me crazy because you feel bad no matter how, like, you feel like the asshole for even bringing it up, but at the same time, if nobody brings it up, nobody's ever going to change anything.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it puts you in that gray area where, am I keeping my head down or what? It's like, you know, I've known people myself that have had, you know, people that are incredibly close to me that have had, like, family and shit. And it's like, look, I'm still gonna go to Thanksgiving and call you an asshole to your face,
right?
Because it's childish that you did it anyway. You know, like it's not. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty easy law to follow. Like, don't shoot anybody.
Right.
It's the same thing. Like, so you don't go out and shoot anybody. Okay, well, don't drink too much and drive home.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exhibit impulse control.
Yeah.
Well, people just don't want to. It's
Yeah.
fucking weird.
Yeah, it's the whole, well, I'm having a good time, so I'll stay for 1 more. And then
Yeah.
it turns into 2 more and 3 more. And it's the responsibility goes out the window.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and then, of course, if it's first, everybody knows, oh, I'll get on ARD, and it's no big deal.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a very awkward conversation. Anyway, well, I was going to say, it's very pointed, and I've been so... I hate to be one of those 33% of the population that have just I've avoided every fucking topic as much as I can lately because it's so frustrating to get into anything.
Yeah.
Like I have had no reason to vent, and it's 5 days into quitting smoking, so I want to tear the walls down. I'm freaking out, but like I'm really stoked to not be spending that kind of money.
Oh my gosh. Well, in the effects that you're going to experience, I mean, that you're already starting to experience as far as physical effects, like with your health and everything else, it's so different. September 17th is going to be 6 years since I quit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
It almost seems like a different lifetime at this point. Like,
yeah.
Once in a great while, and when I say that, I'm talking maybe once a year, twice a year, I'll catch a whiff. Like, I don't know what's different about it compared to all the other times, but I'll catch a whiff of a cigarette and be like, oh my God, that smells so good.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, I'm like, oh, that stinks. I can't stand it. Or, you know, if I'm out and, you know, the place that I'm at is a smoking location and I come home, I can't stand the way I smell. Like, it's awful.
I can't imagine that. Like, I've been looking for, I know there's a couple of really good venues that are non-smoking, so I've been keeping my eyes off for those just because I know I need to keep making the change.
Yes.
Like, it's not like I sat and talked about it with Jim a couple of episodes. You know, we're talking 2 months ago. I was smoking 2.5 packs a day. I tried Chantix, which was a disaster.
Oh my gosh.
It made me uncomfortable, and it made me not care about life anymore.
Yeah.
So
Chantix is a beast in itself.
I think it works for enough people for them to continue marketing it as a stop smoking aid. But
well, and maybe it's Big Pharma's way of cutting down on the population. Who knows? It's expedited population control. Like, hey, if you don't want to smoke because that takes too long, let's just go ahead and kill you off now.
Yeah, I mean, it did like. And I was fearful of that, and then I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm not going to get suicidal or anything weird like that. No, I fucking did.
Yeah.
100% did. I just didn't care about anything. I was so annoyed with everybody.
Yeah.
If anybody looked at me the wrong way, I was like, all right, I've had enough of this world. I'm done. I'm going to just roll it off this bridge. I'm fucking done with this.
Yep. It's crazy how it changes the whole makeup in your brain, like the way you think about everything. It's so weird.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, one of the guards at my work was like, yeah, I was on it too, and it got to a point where I just didn't care about anything because I felt sick all the time because all you're doing is getting dopamine, which is a pleasurable reward chemical in your brain, and it's giving you dopamine all the time, and that flow is always open, and your body's not used to that. You have you have no reward for anything that you do. So you're not rewarded if you quit smoking. You're not rewarded if you keep smoking. You're not getting any pleasure from eating, anything like that. And he's like, and I just felt so...
blah.
He's like, I just felt so, I just felt zero, and I just couldn't fucking deal with it anymore. So he got off of it, and he used the patch instead, which was...
I tried the gum before, but it tasted so terrible. I couldn't do it.
Oh no, I love the gum.
Ugh.
That Nicorette fruit chill,
Oh,
4 milligram.
no, I
so
had
good.
like just the plain little chiclet looking. Oh, they were disgusting.
No, that was probably a while ago too. Because I don't even consider the fact that I've been smoking for what
I think you said 14 years.
13 or 14 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was 18.
Yeah.
So what am I 32 this year? Yeah, it was when I went to college, I decided to try it out, which doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like, once I started smoking, I was like, why did I even do this?
Yeah.
Because it was like, I bought a pack of Lucky Strikes, and I was like, we'll try this, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because I was more friendly then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 'cause I was having a weirdo time at college. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was the weirdo.
Yeah.
Not in a fun way either. Like, I didn't party. I didn't do anything. I just went to class, worked 2 jobs, and then jerked off a lot in my dorm. And that was about it. And, like, I was the weirdo, and that helped me fit in a little bit. So I was like, oh, I'll just keep doing this. No biggie.
Right.
And I kept fucking doing it and kept doing it.
Yeah.
That's good Lord. That was back when a pack of cigarettes was like $2.95.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Stupid Tom Wolfe.
Well, it's been a long before that.
Stupid inflation.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is I've heard statistically like all the big tobacco brands, they're selling less cigarettes now, but they're making more money because they can charge whatever they want.
Right.
And it's getting covered by the taxes anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't care.
Right.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was 8 years. I smoked for 8 years because I started when I was 14.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Why did you why are you such a renegade? 14 years old,
14.
smoking cigarettes?
And actually, to push it a little further, because, I'm such a badass, my first cigarette was a Marlboro Ultralight, I believe, stolen from a friend's mom while I was wearing overalls. I think they may have even been Winnie the Pooh overalls.
Oh.
And I mixed vodka in our little Sunny D's.
Jesus.
We were total crazies.
you were Marlboro Ultralight screwdrivers on a Friday morning. Like,
yeah.
That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, we were out in this rock pile that's non-existent anymore because they built a subdivision there, but we got such a high off of this stupid ultralight that I ended up falling over on the rock pile.
Oh, good God. That's a pretty awesome story.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. I have a terrible memory with most things, but I will never forget that.
Stop doing that. I can hear it through the mics.
Sorry.
Yeah, sit 2 of the most anxious people in a recording studio and give them nothing to do with their hands. Yeah, 2 ex-smokers. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh no. But no, that's so weird. Like, I can't imagine you as a child, but I knew you as a child. We met. You were 17, almost
16,
18.
17. Yeah.
Like that's such a weird thing. It's never even been like there's never that phase shift because back when I met you as a child, I was a child myself.
Right. Yeah.
And it's so weird that like you and I both followed generally the same path of like fucking up a bunch, pulling our heads out of our asses and getting life settled. Like you're super fucking way better with money than I am.
I try.
Hands down. I have a lot more cool shit than you do.
I don't know. You should see my collection lately.
I know, but that's because I waste a lot.
These weekly auctions are not helping things.
I'm way more willing to waste money than you are.
Yeah,
but
I'll give you that.
Yeah, waste. No, I was gonna say, you've been going to auctions recently.
I have,
and that's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, I love them.
It's exciting.
They're addicting. They're so addicting.
And I was gonna say, have you bought anything of actual use, or like I know you bought a ton of records.
Actually, I just got more.
Oh God.
Yeah. Because they were cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole Rubbermaid tub of them for like $8 or something, and the tub itself I can use for other things, so dual purpose. But yes, the collection is growing.
Yeah.
In fact, there are some that in that bin there were duplicates, so I plan on donating them to a friend of mine who does the Bring Your Own Vinyl night down at Holy Hound. So
that's right.
Yeah.
You're I was gonna say you're the hippest human being in the entire world.
No.
You're pretty close.
I try.
I was gonna say you go to auction and then you buy records and then you go to Bring Your Own Vinyl.
It's fun. Bring Your Own Vinyl's a lot of fun.
I'm sure that it is.
It's like a free jukebox, but it's throwing it back a little bit.
And it's a free jukebox, and it's you running nasty old heavy records against somebody else's needle cartridge.
Hey,
and you're not ruining your own shit.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's pretty crazy. Who runs that? Is that Edie Chandler? No,
Jay Schmuck.
Jay Schmuck. Cool. Well, shout out to Jay.
Yeah.
When is Bring Your Own Vinyl? That's Tuesdays.
Tuesday nights.
That's right.
9 to 12.
Ooh. That's exciting.
There you go. Free little plug.
Yeah. Well, I'm pro Holy Hound. I like the general vibe of the Holy Hound.
Oh my gosh, that place is great. And have you eaten there?
No.
Oh my gosh, their food is incredible.
Yeah.
Really good.
Well, I'm sure that it is.
Like everybody always says, oh, Holy Hound, I'm only going to go there if I like beer. But
no.
they have normal drinks and their food is so good.
Oh, did they get a full liquor license now? Can you buy actual stuff there?
I think you can, because I know that, they don't have like a ton of liquor or anything like that, but they do have some. So I'd imagine that they do have that.
Oh, I gotcha. Because I remember when they first opened, I had to walk down to the White Rose so that I could get drunk on Scotch. I had a Scotch phase.
I don't know if they have Scotch. They might. I know they have a couple different bottles. I know they had Bullet Bourbon because they do like a bullet tea type of thing.
Ooh.
Which I've heard is quite good. But
I gotcha. I was going to say, I was always into Scotch. I was never into bourbon because I don't like stuff that burns me. But I do like the taste of Christmas and the bottom of a trash can. Generally, like that's the weirdest thing is like, and going out to just like, you don't purposely go out to drink Scotch because you're gonna spend so much money. I had a $140 bar tab one night because I bought 3 different doubles of Scotch that that are not available.
This goes back to our willingness to waste money.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I was down at the Cove. It was comedy night, and I wanted to make a friend of mine who was broke feel bad, so I drank $140 worth of Scotch. Just be an asshat.
Yeah, I remember your Scotch phase. You were quite into it.
I was surly. It makes me surly. It makes a lot of people surly.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't drink any Scotch the night I got beat up.
Well, that's good.
No, I was drinking gin.
Pine needles.
I drank an entire bottle of gin, and that was it. And that was terrible.
You couldn't pay me enough money in the world to drink any gin. It's disgusting.
You don't like it with tonic or
no?
No, you don't like the.
I don't like licking a pine tree. Thanks.
No, it's delicious. It's more delicious than you make it out to be.
Ugh.
No, you're silly.
So gross.
Yeah, but no. Speaking of beer, like that's one of the other fascinating things is you've been going on like a microbrewery tour.
Yeah, we were trying. It kind of fell by the wayside. We made a New Year's resolution that we were going to visit almost 50 different breweries in the South Central PA region, and I think we've hit 11.
Oh yeah,
and we're in August or September now. I can't believe it's September.
It's September 2nd.
But there were a few that we wanted to hit, or they were too busy, and there were some that weren't on the list that we went to. So it's been a lot of fun to go and test all these different beers in different places, because a lot of these breweries again have really good food, and it's not your typical chain stuff. Like we just had dinner with my husband's aunt and uncle Thursday night, and we went to BJ's Brew House out in Lancaster. It's a really cool place, but it's a chain, so you're gonna get like chain food and whatnot. I mean, they have their own beers, but it's so much fun to go to these smaller, little startups and things because their food is so different. It's enjoyable to get the different flavors and feels and takes on things.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I was going to say, it seems like now I got super into understanding the process of microbrewing your own beer a while ago, because like it was just somebody else had a podcast about microbrewing their own beer. I forget what it was called. It was a really interesting podcast. But it had they went through all the technical aspects of every brew and all kinds of stuff, and that always tickles me. And it seems like from whatever outsider, like I'm gonna go to the bar and drink PBR and make fun of everybody that's wearing flannel and has thick rimmed glasses on. Like you're like, oh well, it all tastes like shit anyway. Well, not really. When you dig into it, there are different techniques that make everything valid and worthwhile to go check out.
Oh yeah.
Like if you take, for example, my favorite beer used to be Sam Adams Oktoberfest, and it was nice. It was a nice pumpkin-y beer, and then you take that's a mass-produced beer. It's very good, my favorite. I miss it, and but like you go to every different brewery. Every different microbrewery, even the 4 or 5 that we have, like between Mudhook, and everybody else I can't plug right this very second because I can't remember the name.
Well, we have Collusion. We have Collusion downtown now.
And
Crystal Ball.
Oh my God.
That's on King Street.
I forgot that.
Yep.
We have as I say, we have a bunch. But if you go to all 3 of them, they're all 3 doing something different. They all 3 have a different filtration system. Yep. It's like...
Well, and different recipes for each of them too. Yeah. I mean, it's not a cookie cutter. Here's what you need. I mean, it is to a degree, but then they all take their own flair and have their own flair with it.
Which is really interesting because, like, I mean, even in the process of microbrewing, it's like if you leave when you're boiling hops, if you leave them in for another 40 seconds, it's going to taste completely different.
Right. Yeah.
Or if you take them out 40 seconds earlier, it makes a huge difference.
Well, and we were talking to the guy. We went down to South County Brewing Company, which is right down near the Maryland line. I think it's Fawn Grove area.
Oh, okay.
And the guy there that was running the bar, he was talking about the one pill. I think it was one of the Pilsners that they had that it used to come out really cloudy when they first put the keg in. But then after a day or so, whenever he poured it, I mean, it looked like he was pouring Coors Light. It was crystal clear. And he said that was because they cold crashed it too much. So it's part of the process, I guess, when they finish it, that when they run it through this cold or cooling process, depending on how cold it is or how long you do it, will ultimately affect the clarity of the beer, which I didn't realize. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, that I didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it all comes down to all that stuff, and like the whole risk and gamble behind microbrewing is that getting through that process and knowing how to get everything right and getting it to be.
It's such a science.
Yeah, and there are microbreweries that'll do one-off kegs and stuff like that, and it's like, well, that's because they're in the
Scratch series and things.
They're in the process of figuring out what they want to keep.
Right.
And it's like you can throw it out or you could serve it.
Yeah, Trogs does a lot of that.
There's a really good place in Philadelphia too. A friend of mine, Joe, always recommends it, but I can't remember the name of it. But like they'll do single kegs and stuff, and like if you're not there for it, tough.
Yeah. Victory does some of that stuff. In fact, the bar that my husband's aunt and uncle has out in Lancaster, bar and restaurant, they got a sixtel of a certain beer that Victory is putting out, and that's all they're getting. So it's about 50 beers, and it's first come, first serve, and it's probably only going to last a day, and it's just this limited release type of thing. So I always thought that's kind of cool because you have all these other different types that you can try from here and there.
Yeah, that seems like I was gonna say that seems like a great thing. Like it seems like a great method of getting people to come out.
Yeah, it's a good draw.
Yeah, it's a huge draw because what's the place down in Dallastown or Dallastown Red Lion?
There's one in Black Cap in Red Lion.
No. I'm thinking of Josh Braun's place.
Oh, Beermongers.
Yeah, I was gonna say Beermongers. They have like their list always changes, and they have really good food too.
I have yet to get in there.
For them being in down where they are, they have super great food. And like they are a little off the beaten path because they're just above Dallastown.
Right. Yeah, they're right on the edge there, right?
Yeah, right next to the Glad Crab.
Yeah.
Don't go to the Glad Crab because you get beat up by bikers.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, no. They're just Beermongers is right there. A friend of mine, his girlfriend and I rode out there one day, and I checked it out. It was super fun.
Yeah.
And it's a nice it's a super nice atmosphere. There's no rush. It's not like super loud. They're playing Vice on the TV, and I love watching Vice. Yeah, I love weed. I love being the most sober human being who just I love weed. I would totally buy High Times.
Yeah,
but there's no reason for me to own High Times magazine.
Yeah,
like. I'm not getting high. I haven't gotten high since my wedding.
Right.
And like, there's no reason for me to love it so much. I'm just super pro weed.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird.
Yeah, I'm thinking this whole revolution that's going on currently, at least in the state of Pennsylvania, well, and nationwide with the whole medical marijuana thing, I think that's pretty exciting.
I think it is too. Like, it does amazing things for kids with epilepsy and seizures and well, even adults who have Parkinson's and things like that, like it helps reduce the tremors and things. And I think that's pretty cool. It gives them back their life to a degree. If you're gonna have to lay down forever, why wouldn't you want a pillow? Like that's such a terrible way to put it, but it's true. Like you have a sickness that's gonna be with you forever. Like just fucking feel better about it. You know, like just make it easier to get through. What else could you want? You know, that's why we give the oldies morphine. Yeah. It's like we're gonna give them morphine so they can get super fucking high and not feel anything and die slowly. Yeah, and just let them light a joint too. It's okay. I don't know, but yeah, it's like everything that's going on with medical, and then like York City is now a ticketable offense to be holding. Yes, instead of a full on they're cutting back on the fines and things. I was gonna say I think that's interesting, and I think if that becomes a trend, that's gonna be. You're going to see a lot of unions, prison worker unions that are going to revolt over it. Well, they're going to start losing their jobs. Exactly. Yeah, because, I mean, you have this overcrowding issue, and I'm curious to see how much of that is due to silly things like, having, some marijuana on you or whatever. Yeah. And like after I spent 2 months in Washington County, and like the people that you meet in there, 9 times out of 10, they're not vicious animals.
No.
They're just people that found ways to alleviate their mental pressure, and the ways that they alleviated their mental pressure were a rolling hill, like they were a fucking ball rolling down a hill that was all causational from the drug war. And you're like, yeah, you're right. You're not bright enough to go work in an office. You should be able to smoke weed and fire your gun off.
Yeah.
But
well, and the whole mentality of, well, you know, it doesn't matter, it's a drug's a drug. Well, I don't necessarily consider marijuana in the same category as cocaine or heroin or anything like that. Like, I don't see anybody dying because they smoked weed or smoked too much weed. And B, I mean, everyone says, oh, it's such a gateway drug, but I don't see that. I really don't see that. And I never experienced that either. Like, I never had any desire to ever go any further than that. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's kind of a cop out.
I think it is. I think it is ridiculous. And it's like, weed's not a gateway drug. Curiosity is the gateway drug, because curiosity brought me to smoking weed as an adult. Like, I didn't do anything as a kid. I was the fucking most boring kid you've ever met in the entire world. I read Batman comics and I hung out. Like, not exciting. But when I came into my adulthood, like, tried weed in college and it was okay. Came home, got a job, had money in my pocket, started doing cocaine. I just wanted to know, and I wanted to see what the world was about.
Right.
I did cocaine for a long time, and it was really good. And you were there for most of it, but like
not there. Let's clarify.
But like, I agree. Marijuana's not harsh, like not as time consuming or life consuming as other drugs. And it's like, yeah, it's a plant, so is cocaine, but there's a difference. Like,
right.
Yeah. Weed grows on the side of the highway.
Yeah.
Like, just let it go. Just throw your seeds and stems out the window. You're going to have some dank ass bushweed on the side of the highway in a year. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
Like, that I'm fine with. But like, yeah, you're right. I forget what it was. I think Oregon was moving to decriminalize everything.
Oh, wow. Like, I don't know about that.
It's a worthwhile test. I mean, because I think either Sweden or Norway, I forget, they have like their programs are more towards rehabilitation because of the idea that whether it works or not, from the like, my biggest thing with that is like, you know, all these fucking things getting passed around about Narcan parties and all this like nonsense and bullshit, and we shouldn't help people. Addiction is a weakness, blah, 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 blah. Well, here's the thing, is that in whatever country I'm thinking of that I haven't done the research on lately, from the very first step, they're looking at you as a person. Their bureaucratic imposition is looking at you as a person. Right. And if you're not willing to do that here, like that, and that's my other biggest thing, is like, if you're not willing to do that in any argument that you're having, if you're not willing to look at whatever subject you're speaking on as valid, right, then you're not having an argument. Right. What you're doing is just being a cunt. And like, I don't care where my taxes go. I pay them. Right. It's that. Yeah,
do we have a choice?
I was going to say, it's that fucking simple. And if we could say, okay, well, the management now sucks. Let's get some new ones in. Let's get some new managers in. Let's figure out the fucking program is broken here. We're not selling, like, sales floor, all the sales are dwindling and nothing good is going on. It's like, okay, well, fuck the management, not fuck each other. Like, if somebody has an addiction, it sucks. And no matter what, that person is still a person. Right. And for you to walk past, like, you know, you walk past somebody that's idly mumbling to themselves because of years of heavy abuse, like mental drug, whatever, you walk past them and you look at them like they're Frankenstein's monster. You're the fucking problem in that equation. Yeah. You're not giving humanity a chance. Right. And you're not letting your human give you a chance. Like, you're not giving your human side a chance. And it's like, that's the thing. It's like, I hate people that hate for no reason. I hate racism.
I think empathy is something that's becoming a foreign concept.
And that's the issue, is like, we've ballooned up to a point where there is no empathy, but at the same time, everybody that's screaming, you need to pick yourself up by your bootstraps, this, that, and the other, are living at home in their mom's basement. They're not fucking motivated to do anything but spread their clout upon the digital realms. And it's like, well, if you're not motivated in any way, I'm already done with you. Like that's the thing is like, if you're going to tell me that we can stand beneath the apple tree and the fruit on the lowest branches is the best in the tree, and we can yell about how great the fruit in the bottom of the tree is,
right?
And you're unwilling to put your hand up and climb up a limb and get to the top where we know that all the fruit is better,
right?
As chimpanzees,
yeah,
which is what we are. We are fucking primates no matter what. I will climb to the top of the tree. I'd rather climb to the top of the tree.
I like climbing trees anyways.
And whoever I find at the top of the tree, cool. And I don't care what you have to say at the top of the tree because you made the effort.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to make the effort to be a person at a base level and you're somehow an ideology, you're somehow a fucking opinion, a blah, 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 but you're not doing anything otherwise.
Right.
Not doing anything that's facile, anything that I can actually fucking touch in my hands, not making any progress that I can see. Innate primitivity puts me off of you.
Right.
I cannot look at you the same way that you look at the same way that you look at the junkie that's leaning against the YMCA, slumped over because they're having the bends, they're having fucking problems. The same way you look at that guy,
yeah,
it's the same way I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Because you're just a fucking cog in a machine.
Well, and it blows my mind anymore with as much as this whole opioid thing has exploded that people like prior to it affecting me, I mean, obviously I don't do it, but I mean, prior to me knowing people that are involved in it, sure, I probably judged and looked at these people. But now that I know not one or two, but more than that, I know these people who are suffering from this, I think that's kind of opened my eyes. So it kind of makes me wonder why more people aren't being more empathetic to it, because I guarantee you someone that they know, whether they're close to them or not, suffers from this. And it like I said, since it came to light for me and I said, oh, okay, well, this person I know is suffering and this person I know is suffering, it gave me a different perspective. So the more people that are being affected by this, be it directly or indirectly, like it I'm hoping that it continues to open people's eyes and make them more empathetic, that it's not just they made a choice, they're a junkie, whatever, they're beneath me. Right. I'm hoping that I don't want it to continue to get out of control, but with the more people that it's affecting, the more I think it's going to make people realize like this is a problem, and we should, instead of standing back and laughing at them or judging them, we should probably step up and try and do something.
Yeah.
Contribute to your local, nonprofit that's trying to help those that are addicted, and pay for recovery, because obviously these people, I mean, the bank robberies lately are through the roof. Like Wells Fargo in our area got hit twice just this past week because people are dope sick. Like they need money. And like, it's just, I'm hoping that more and more people will, instead of judging, they'll open their eyes or their wallets or whatever they can do to try and help these people. Like I was just reading an article, I think it was either today or this morning or yesterday, that Hanover Hospital now, if someone comes in and they were revived with Narcan, they can't be charged, which, okay, I get that. But, well, for now, I get that. But Hanover Hospital now, whenever that occurs, instead of just saying, okay, you've been revived, we've checked you out, you're okay, we're sending you on your way, they have a counselor come in now and speak to them and offer them a chance to go to a recovery house and try and go through rehab. They're still able to refuse it if they want to, but they've seen a great response in that. I think it said out of like 140 some people, like I think 70 or so were like, okay, you know what, I'll come get help. And if they didn't decide to go get help right then and there, they got a call within a couple days from that individual to say, you know what, I thought about it and you're right, I should come get help. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just something like that. Just have a counselor come in and talk to them. Like, I really wish that there was some kind of ordinance that said if you're revived with Narcan, you're required to go for a certain stint. Like, I understand that's going to be expensive and, it's going to take up a lot of space, but if we want something to change, something has to be done. Right. More so than just finding them or whatever.
Well, I was going to say, and when you said it's expensive, it's not.
Really?
So that's the shit kicker, is that throughout all of this, there's a very good book. I forget the guy's name, but the monetization of rehabilitation, especially for drug abuse, is so high that when people come in, they get shuffled around. They get shuffled to a new house because they're making the people that run the houses money. That's all they're doing. That's all.
That's true.
It's just it's a different form of our third-party prison system where people are getting paid out the ass
Mm-hmm.
to help these people, but the actual costs aren't there. They're not real, and the costs are all inflated and false
Mm-hmm.
because it's like if your car insurance paid for your gas,
Mm-hmm.
and all you had to do was throw your insurance card through the at the gas pump,
Mm-hmm.
and gas stations stopped putting the number of how much gas cost up on
Mm-hmm.
the billboard on the board,
Right.
you'd never know how much gas costs.
Right.
So gas would cost whatever it wanted to cost.
Yeah.
And whoever could profit off of it, that's exactly how much it's going to
Well,
cost.
isn't that kind of what they're doing now?
Well, generally yes, but you know, you still incur that moment where you're like, oh wow, 270. It shot up. It's
285 now.
Is it 285 since
This morning.
yesterday?
Yeah.
Holy hell.
Yeah, last night we drove past the Rudders on Bannister. We were at my parents' house, and it was
Uh-huh.
275. And Eric said, "Oh, well, it's only 275 there." And I said, "You wait until morning." And sure enough, when we went by this morning, it was 285.
Yeah, good Lord. And that I was just saying, that's the crazy thing is they're gonna cover it up and tell you that it's because the
Yeah.
storm hit Texas.
Yeah,
Most of that shit's refined in New Jersey.
I know. Well,
Dummies.
you know they have 10 refineries shut down. It's 20% of the country's output.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we suddenly gain 20% more cars on the road?
No.
No, we actually lost that many cars.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Because Texas isn't
They're
running
all
right
flooded,
now.
right?
Yeah. So why are we incurring the cost? Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Makes
But
sense.
fucking
It's the
let's
panic.
let's start revolution. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna end up with $3.85 gallons of gas again, and everybody's gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be a champion because I ride a motorcycle,
There you go.
and that's all I ride.
There you go.
It's gonna go from costing me $20 a month to get to work to $28 a month.
If I didn't have to wear business attire, I would totally ride my bike to work
Yeah.
because it's only 4 miles. But there's a bunch of hills in there, and since I have to wear business attire, I really don't feel like showing up all sweaty.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, and you're not a truck driver, so there's no shower on your premises.
Actually, there is.
Is there really?
We
You
do
guys
have
have a
a
locker
small
room?
locker room,
Yeah.
in the bathroom.
That's pretty rad.
It is.
Like, you really consider that, and you're like, why is there a locker room at this office? And you're like, oh, because if you want to be physical and you want to jog here,
Yeah.
you take care of your shit.
Yeah.
You
I mean, it's possible that it was always there, but I'm not sure because it was a furniture place before it was
okay, yeah.
our building. But I don't know.
Oh,
I should consider that.
you
and
really
stop
should.
being lazy.
You should just stop being lazy.
Yeah.
You should. Yeah, it's okay. Everybody makes excuses.
But I'm just thinking too of how much earlier I'd have to get up. And currently, with my schedule and my husband's schedule, the window of time between the time I get home and the time he has to leave is very small. So if I were to ride my bike, I wouldn't make it in time to say goodbye.
Yeah.
So
But
that's
he could
important
just
to me.
drive- He could just drive past you and high five as you.
He doesn't
as
go
you
that
go.
way.
Oh, well, he could go that way. He's more effective because he's in a car. He's much faster than you are.
Yeah.
He could go out of his way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
it's
think
all
about it.
It's all about the ebb and the flow or whatever.
Yeah.
Life is about making, what's that word?
Adjustments?
No, not adjustments. What's that thing where you come to terms with each other, but like not
Compromises?
Yeah, that's it. Life's about compromise.
Yeah.
That joke is so dead because it took me so long to think of the word compromise, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's the odd thing is like, well, yeah, gas is gonna go up. You could ride to work. I can walk to work. Work is 3 miles away. That's a 38-minute walk, even on my shitty metal ankle. So I'm swear.
I love how particular you were. 38 minutes. Did you time
That's
it?
my best time.
Really?
That's my best time.
That's
for
pretty
my
good for three
That's
three
my
miles.
laziest walk. No jogging, no speed walking.
Yeah.
That's my best lazy
No mall
time.
walking.
No. I miss that actually.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen to that now since all of these malls are turning inside out and
Dude.
becoming these like open air malls.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna
What are these
say,
people going to do with themselves?
Well, I wondered that because like last time I was in the Galleria, I was like, this place is fucking dead.
It is. It's dying.
Yeah.
Quickly.
And it's like, but then you leave town and you go to Park City and you're like, oh yeah, nothing's ever changed. It's still 1998 at Park City.
Yeah.
And the mall's always full.
Right.
That's because they got an iPhone. That's because they have an Apple store.
Yeah,
and
that's
you have to go
true.
there to get your apples fixed.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I don't know. Life is stogorific, and I'm glad that you're a human. Because I had that worry. You and I have known each other for so long.
have.
over half of my lifetime,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Yeah, mine's about half.
Yeah, and no, it can't be half because we met when you were 18, 17 or
17.
18.
Oh, okay,
You're
so
not
close.
34 yet.
No, not quite.
No, you gross.
Yeah.
You're gonna expire next year. aren't you?
Yeah, December of next year.
Oh, gross.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're too old.
I know.
Gotta put you on a back shelf. You gotta put you in the bargain clearance section.
Yeah, I'm
You
trying
hit
to
30.
push the number 30 to the very back of my
Yeah.
brain. I'd really rather not think about it.
You'll be fine. It's not a big deal.
No, I
Seriously.
know.
I've been in my 30s for 2 years, so it's all right.
Yeah.
It's the same. Like that. I think that's the other thing culturally. None of us have ever grown up.
Yeah, I'm
Even-
not really worried about turning 30. It's the social and cultural pressures of turning 30. Like, am I going to be in my life where I wanted to be by the time I'm 30? That's the part that's like, ugh,
Yeah.
it's different.
You're not living in your parents' basement anymore. Or your parents'
It never was.
No, you were living. Well, I was gonna say you were a kid. You were not 18 yet. You were living in your parents' attic. Like whatever, that's fine.
Dude, did you... That seems out of context because my parents' attic, it was a bonus room above the garage,
Yeah,
but it
so
was a super awesome room.
It was a great room.
It was like 27 feet by 13 feet. It was huge.
It was great, and it had a peaked roof. So
Yeah.
like you had.
was
the
like my
middle,
own little
and you could do
apartment.
Cool stuff and like
Yeah.
exactly. Dude, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, yeah, I was gonna say, put some context to it. You're right, but
Yeah.
no, you were still a kid. Like that's acceptable. That's a
Yeah.
thing. But like now, like
Yeah, I moved out
Yeah.
and bought my own house at 21. That's pretty impressive.
I didn't realize it was that early in your life. What in God's name?
Yeah. 2010.
2010.
Bought my house when I was 21. Got married at 22.
Good God.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot you were that young.
Yep.
Jesus. I was gonna say I guess I never really put any gravitas to that to that.
Yep.
Because I never really considered that you were
Mhm.
that you're all like you're my peer. No matter what, you're the same. That
Yeah.
consideration never comes up.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I know.
That's cool though. 21, that's the way to do it.
I'm pretty proud about that. That's
We-
one of my biggest accomplishments, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a huge accomplishment.
I mean, my house isn't anything to write home about, but just the fact that I was able to do that was pretty
Well, yeah.
exciting.
And like I was gonna say you buck the trend because that's like not a commonality anymore.
Right.
And you are quote unquote a millennial.
Yes, I am.
So am
By
I.
definition.
I was gonna say by technical definition,
Yeah.
so am I.
Yeah.
I'm not part of the Pepsi generation,
No.
sadly enough.
Nope.
But I still did the same thing too. I got married and bought a house.
Yep.
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
That's what you should do. But it's all situational.
Yeah.
I've managed to make this little universe, which is a very little universe,
Mhm.
to just stop on a commute
Right.
into something that I
Your
can
home.
explore and grow from.
Yep.
And if you're not like, if you think that if your only thought in mind is I've got to get out of this place and go somewhere where
Mhm.
there's already a huge environment and culture, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's the only way for me to get ahead in this life. Well, then you're gonna have to go to a very expensive part of the States and
Mhm.
live expensively with 4 roommates until you're
Mm-mm.
29 and
Ugh.
deal with all that shit.
Nope.
And I just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
couldn't do
no,
it at
I
all.
can't. Mm-mm.
I have all this extra space and I don't have roommates. I don't want roommates.
No, I don't ever.
Mhm.
I love my friends, but I don't think I could ever.
No, it's not.
No.
I was gonna say beyond the ages of like 23, it's not worth it.
Well, aside from my husband, and my parents, obviously, I've never lived with anyone else. And it's been what I've witnessed is that anybody like who's friends and tries to live together, it never works out. And it ends up being this ugly mess. And
Oh yeah, always. Just because
not interested in that.
Yeah, I was gonna say the expectation is that you're both on the same wavelength and you both have the same goals in mind. And
Yeah.
it's like no, you both have independent lives, and whether or not you can handle that fact,
Yeah.
that's what's gonna be the difference.
Mhm.
It's like get away from me. I don't need your time or attention.
Yeah.
Go live your own life.
Yeah. Well, and I'm at this point in my life too where my friends are, it's a very small circle because I just don't care to have all of these empty acquaintances and friendships anymore. Like
Yeah.
I don't have the time or effort. It's not valuable to me.
I agree. It's weird.
The people
Like,
pleasers and whatnot, just
yeah,
go away.
I ain't got time for your shit.
No.
Mhm. I don't know. I was gonna say I've gotten old, like
Mhm.
100%. Like, and you do that. You hem down
Mhm.
everything that's
mature.
everything that's taking up your time. You find a way to hem it down and make it more efficient and make
Mhm.
it more exciting for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, and that's it. And
Yeah,
if
I'd-
you don't like, I have friends that I haven't talked to in a while because I just
Mhm.
didn't find them fucking exciting
Yeah.
anymore. You know.
Well, and I've even pissed a couple people off because a good friend of mine, she's very friendly with people. She likes to have a bunch of friends, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But some of her friends and myself, we got along initially, but as time went on and I spent more time with them, I personally felt like they were empty people. They were,
Yeah.
going to go with the flow of whatever everyone around them thought. And, that's how they were going to act around that particular group of people. And I cannot stand that. Like, if you cannot be yourself and feel comfortable being yourself around people, then I don't want you in my life.
No, I fully agree. Like, it's so, like, that's the weirdest thing is, like, you don't really, everybody thinks that it's, like, just this whole purpose of purposeful selection where everybody thinks the same way you do. But you carry a gun and I'm a pacifist and, like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay to have differences. Like, I would much rather have these differences than someone sit around and be a yes man and say, oh, yeah, I love this, just so that you'll like me. Like, No,
and I'm totally okay with you carrying a gun because guns are radical. Guns are awesome.
They're fun.
I said that to somebody the other day because especially at my work, I don't fit into my work.
No, I'd imagine.
Everybody
kind of
looks,
the black sheep there.
Yeah, everybody looks like the 1970s trucker movies. Like, it's pretty impossible for me to say anything that doesn't offend somebody there.
Oh,
and it's like,
wow, that's shocking.
But the other day, some people were sitting in the office and they were talking about, like, I forget what it was, new Glocks or something. And I was like, I know everybody thinks that I'm a vegetarian weirdo hippie around here, but I just want you to know that at no point have I ever picked up a gun and not smiled. It's the best thing.
They're pretty fun.
It's so weird. And, like, especially with, like, Hunter S. Thompson being one of my favorite authors, like, dude, he loved guns, but he didn't go out, like, doing weird shit with them. No, he just went out back and
shot his typewriters.
Yeah,
it's fine.
exactly. Fuck God, typewriters. Jesus. I have one, like, the one that's sitting on the desk, I love that one, and it's an electric, and, like, it's so not the hippest typewriter in the entire world,
Yeah.
but guess what? It is super efficient for time.
I bet.
Yeah, I don't have to henpeck. I don't have to do shit. I can actually use it like a full keyboard, and it will type. That thing will print at least 70 words per minute.
Wow.
Yeah, which is great.
That's pretty cool.
And I know it's just so the cool thing to write books on typewriters nowadays. It doesn't matter the content of the book. It's just how it was written.
Yeah, I was actually admiring the piece you have hanging downstairs where it's typed on the ribbon.
I
love that thing. I didn't read it, but it looks really cool.
Oh, that was that was a weird moment. I wrote that. I think that one's called "Rain on a Space." Or how can it possibly rain on a space station? It's untitled, but that's the main hook of it. How could it possibly rain on a space station? But it's a whole long thing. And it all came from, like, this manic moment. I was sitting waiting on a load up in Clearfield.
Yeah.
And I had my typewriter in my truck with me because I used to be the hippest human being in the entire world.
I know.
That was written on my white collegiate, by the way, for anybody who needs to know exactly which typewriter it was on. But I had walked up to the Walmart, and while I was there, I saw receipt rolls. And I was like, oh, that'd be really cool to type on this.
It was.
So I did.
Yeah.
And it was fucking awesome. And that one came out great. It was really weird. Some man meets a devil in a grocery store in Ferdinand, Indiana. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
That's quite interesting.
Don't read it. I mean, like, it's just there. It looks great.
It does.
It looks great in that frame because it's all side by side in a floating frame.
Yeah. And the edges are, perfectly torn. It seems like they're jagged, but it works perfectly with that. It's very cool looking.
I didn't tear it like that. Somebody else tore it for me to make sure that it had the full thing.
Yeah,
it's great.
Pretty cool.
Super great. Yeah. So, I mean, it could have been like, it's like a 2,000 word epic. It could have been, like, really beautiful and really useful, and it could have a lot of information in it that's, like, super deep. It could have been the best piece that I've ever written. I'm pretty positive it's the best piece that I've ever written, and maybe, like, probably could have won a Pulitzer if people actually cared about literature anymore.
Oh, well, yeah.
But I'm super glad that you like the way it looks.
I do.
I'm glad you didn't read it.
One of these days, I'm sure I will.
I'm sure you will.
Another dinner party.
Yeah, no, one of these days. No, I'll read it aloud downtown because who was that? I forget. Somebody wanted their work to be noticed so much that they used to go down to the center of their town and he'd act it out himself because nobody was paying attention.
Was that the abortion dude?
Which abortion dude?
The preacher?
No.
As you drive by, he's going to tell you you're going to hell.
No, Jim Grove's dead. Fuck him.
Good.
Yeah, personal. Anyway, so
I cussed him out at a parade once.
Well, yeah, he accosted.
He was a total douche.
He accosted me for wearing a mini skirt to go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then I told him that I finger blasted both his daughters and his wife, and I was gonna do it again when he went home that night, and it did not go well. That guy's an asshole, but he's dead, thankfully.
Yeah, I'm all for differing opinions, but not like that. Not like
he
that.
He was an asshat. Like he's just an inflammatory asshat. He wanted his church to be bigger. He wanted more money to come in. And then, like, so yeah, his values were valueless.
Speaking of which, I haven't heard much out of that church that picketed all the funerals and whatnot in a while.
Well, that's because what's his name? Their preacher passed on.
Oh, did he?
Actually, and believe it or not, Westboro Baptist.
That's it.
And one of the preacher, I forget his name right now because it's like not information I need to have
really
readily present. One of his daughters came on to Joe Rogan's podcast and sat for 3 hours for an interview.
Oh, wow.
It's really fucking worth listening to. It puts sheds a little more light on what the attempt was, and it was an honest attempt for the sake of the religion, but like the way they went about it was
asinine.
It was asinine, it was offensive, but it was the way that they got people to notice,
right?
You know, and it just like that was a really beautiful interview. Her name was Megan. Can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, like it was because you're right. Like differing opinions are weird, but when you know that they're like, it's when you can feel that they're valuable,
right?
Like from fucking Jim Grove walking to the back of the fucking parades. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I knew him personally.
Yeah, with kids present and, extremely graphic photos of aborted fetuses and whatnot, because that's totally appropriate.
But, 100%. And every time I say his full name, good. I hope he rolls over in his grave.
Yeah.
But, you get that, and you're like, okay, no, he just wants to be, the next, Ted Haggard. He wants to be the next, good Lord. Anybody.
Didn't Ted Haggard get in trouble for prostitution or something?
Yeah, gay prostitution from Craigslist. Yes. Yes.
So.
And didn't we all believe it? And then, now we have, Joel
Osteen. Oh, my God.
Joel Osteen, who didn't. The power of the internet got him to open his mega church.
Right, yeah.
His mega church, the old...
asshole.
The old basketball court for Houston.
Yeah,
for
Lakewood.
The Spurs or whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
That's cool.
Televangelism blows my mind.
The thing that blows me away the most is the fact that it's just like, we know the post office is broken and we're spending too much to send a letter.
Right.
But we keep on doing it. And no matter how much we fight televangelists and the knowledge that even on a spiritual level or a religious level, there is such a thing as not being an asshole for the sake of atheism or agnosticism. And you realize that the humanity is missing from televangelism just as much. The humanity, the community aspect, all of it is popularity contest.
Yes.
And we know that. And
it's a ratings thing.
And most logical people know that. But for some reason,
you have the blind followers and whatnot. Yeah.
We still go to the fucking post office and we pay for stamps.
Right.
And all we do is complain that the price goes up. But we haven't stopped going to the post office.
Right.
Because they're going to get paid anyway. They're a federal outfit. But that's the other thing. Okay, well, we know the post office is unnecessary and I could send a letter through you. I could send it through UPS. It'll be there the next day.
Yeah. And
it'll cost me 85 cents to send that letter instead of 49 cents.
Yeah.
But I know that it's getting there. It's not getting lost in the back of a truck. It's not getting damaged.
Yeah. Or stolen.
But we're still going to go to this. We're still going to just, I can put it in the mailbox. It's right there.
Hey, I still pay all my stuff by paper check because they have cool stamps.
Well, yeah, as stamps.
I have Wonder Woman stamps.
Do you really?
I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say your fascination with Wonder Woman is pretty fascinating.
And then I had stamps that were vintage trucks. I like getting different ones every time I go. I find them fun.
Well, I was gonna say,
and they cost the same as the Forever stamps, so I'd rather have cool ones.
Well, yeah, that's true. The Forever stamps are rad though. You can accidentally screw up and send airmail with them.
What?
Yeah, just send it. Always send. Here, I want everybody to break the law. You always put where it's going as the return address, and do not address the envelope otherwise. And then don't put a stamp on it.
Why?
Because it's going to go to the return address. It's going to go exactly where it needs to go. Don't do that.
Yeah, but typically...
I was going to say, don't do that. But yeah, if the only address is the return address... If you write that in as the destination, if I'm sending you a letter, I throw your address in the return.
Yeah, but wouldn't you have to drop that in a receptacle then? You couldn't just put that in your mailbox because if the mail carrier sees that it's in your mailbox without postage, they'll leave it there.
Well, yeah, no,
and it won't go anywhere.
I realize that. No,
Huh.
There's a post office on my way. I can just slide it in the thing.
That's
Well, once it's
interesting.
in the system, it's going to go where it's destined to go.
Yeah.
Return address. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. That's a terrible thing to do. Don't ever do that if I leave that on the episode.
One of these days, I'm really tempted to all those mailers that come with the postage paid like reply envelopes, like, hey, do you want to sign up for Dish Network? Or hey, do you want State Farm insurance and shit like that? Like, I'm really, really tempted to shred a bunch of stuff and stick it in that return envelope and just send it because it's not going to cost me anything, but it's obnoxious to receive that stuff.
That's true.
Maybe they'll stop sending me things.
Yeah.
It's wishful thinking.
It is wishful.
I don't think it would work.
That's all that ever ends up in my mailbox. Is
No, it's
just
junk.
I get the community courier. I get every fucking newsletter.
Ooh, speaking of the community courier, did you clip your York Fair coupon?
No, is there a York Fair coupon?
Yes, I have
in
an
there?
extra. I'll give you one.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I was gonna say I didn't even look through. I don't even look through the community courier. I just take it out of my mailbox because at some point my mailbox gets so full of
Oh,
crap
jeez.
that my postal lady will not drop anything at my house. She'll just walk away.
Oh,
and I was
my.
like, all right, fine, I'll take the shit out of it because it's all trash. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want all this nonsense.
Right.
But it's my fault for signing up for mailing lists in the 90s.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the York Fair, that's pretty exciting.
I know.
actually.
Well, did you hear the big news with it?
No.
Coors Orangeade pulled out.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because they said the fair's going downhill, so they're not coming back.
Well, yeah, I know it's going downhill.
We all know
but
that.
Yeah, but it's only going to go downhill further. That's disappointing.
I think they're more or less trying to make a statement to get some change made. But
I
I
know-
found that really interesting because they're huge there.
Yeah, that's the reason that you go.
And they used to make a lot of money there, trust me.
Well, yeah. But that I was gonna say, but that's when booths were shoulder to shoulder, walking paths were shoulder to shoulder, and people actually showed up for stuff.
Right.
That was back when we had, just to get nostalgic about the fair, but that was back before we had the Toyota arena. And once
Yeah.
that arena went in, they took out all the stalls, they took out all the reason to meander, and it turned into no fun. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's I don't want to say it's gotten really commercial because I don't think that's quite the right word, but it's very
it's very
chintzy
it's
and
polished.
Yeah.
It's expectationally polished in the sense that it's like going to a strip mall
Yeah.
full of shit you don't need, and it's not fun.
yeah, it's like going to a glorified flea market with rides.
Yeah, and that takes all the fun out of it. The the music lineup this year sucks because they didn't put any money into
Yeah,
it.
for the most part.
I'd totally go. I know this is the weirdest thing that I'll ever say in my entire life. I would absolutely go see Jeff Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh my God, I took my dad to that show at the Hershey Arena and it was
Yeah,
great.
They're fantastic.
They're
both
funny.
fantastic comedians. I think, like, from a comedy standpoint, they do an amazing job.
They're funny.
That doesn't mean I'm gonna go jump in my truck with a rebel flag on it. It just
Oh,
means,
yeah. Ugh.
It just means I like fucking comedy.
Yeah.
I like Chris Rock too. I'm not black.
Right.
I'm not at all. It's okay to like people.
Right.
It's okay to like specific things.
Yeah,
Like,
especially out of your immediate interest.
yeah, but like the lineup this year sucks. And last year we went, and within 40 minutes we left because there was
Well,
no
they used
reason
to have
go
the
in.
demo derby on the last day of the fair, and it was
Yeah.
free with your admission. But they don't
Yeah.
even do that really anymore. Or
It's
if they
just-
do, you have to pay extra for it, and
Yeah.
it's yeah.
And it's like every stand, there's nothing unique or new anymore. There's
No.
just like it's just people that order in bulk and they throw it in a tent and expect you to buy it. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
dude,
I don't need another cell phone case or any of that shit.
How many goddamn Baja sweatshirts can I own?
Right.
Like, let's be honest.
Some vinyl stickers for your
Yeah.
lifted truck.
And some sweet wooden pipes.
Yeah.
Pipe whistles, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it just, we can wax nostalgic about it and say that those were the glory days, et cetera, but it's only gonna, the interest in it is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, technically, like the belief is that carnival rides are not safe. But
Right.
They're actually safer statistically than
Really?
every amusement park because they're torn down and gone through at least once
All
a
the
week.
time. Yeah.
And every time they're moved, they go through them, safety inspections, all that.
Right.
And then they have to do it when they put them back up. So statistically, they are safer.
Right.
Yeah, it's a different breed. It's like a different brand of human. And Bert, I forget what, but remember the sideshow used to come by, like the freak show
Yeah,
that
yeah,
used to
yeah,
go
yeah.
by the carnival. That's gone. They don't.
Yeah,
tour
they don't.
York anymore. They used
And
to,
that was a big one
that
too.
was. We had the cyclorama too down where all the roads meet, so like you could watch motorcycles do the wall ride, and like they had the sphere and all kinds of crazy shit.
Right.
But like everything's safe, everything's tame, everything's cookie cutter.
Boring.
Yeah.
Well, even last year we went because we like to go and pet all the animals and see, the different animals that they have. And last year, I don't know if they were in the process of changing out what animals were there, but it was empty.
Yeah.
Like there weren't even any animals to go look at. And like that's one of the big reasons I go.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say we went to the 4-H petting zoo. I forgot about that. That's right. Yeah, because that was a super fun time. I'm glad we actually had the opportunity to meet up over there. 'Cause I'm right by it.
Right.
I would go every day if it was as exciting as it was.
Yeah, and not as expensive.
Yeah, and it's what is it, $9 or $10 to get in if you don't have a coupon, and like that's just not worth it.
Well, and they've cut back on like the Wise Day. It used to be free between I think 4 and 8 for 4 people. Well, now you get like $2 or $3 off your admission.
Yeah.
Or half price admission.
Yeah.
So it feels like this big money grab for nothing. Like it's I don't know. I used to love it.
Well, this is the 251st year or 250th. No,
I think it's past that. It might be 252.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're past. This is the world's oldest fair. Like it's the longest running fair. It's got all that cool stuff about it, but at the same time, it's exclusionary. It's a trade show for people that are trying to sell you a goddamn hot
right.
tub.
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be a state fair, and it was founded on agriculture, and we are so far from that now with
which doesn't
what they have. Like I just don't get it.
It doesn't make any sense that we've displaced ourselves from that because it does. Like you walk outside of town, what do you walk into?
Right.
Farms.
A cornfield.
Farms. You walk into a cornfield. You walk into a winery or
right.
a grapery.
A vineyard.
A vineyard. You go down south. You walk into a vineyard, or you go out west. You walk into an apple orchard.
Yeah, or a tobacco field or whatever.
Orchard. Like. There's so much around here, and it's like, oh well, why are we not focused?
Yeah, I don't
feel
anymore? Like going to an amusement park at the York Fairgrounds.
No,
like that's not why I go.
And like I think the argument that was made against my complaints a while ago was oh well, it's just you getting older. It's like, yeah, but I still find that shit interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I still like to go walk around and make fun of sheep because they do have vaginas that look like vaginas.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. And I'd like to go give $5 to the 4-H club because I get to pet bunnies and
right.
tend the rabbits. Robert Klein. But yeah, anyway, but like, yeah, I like to give money to the 4-H. I like to be involved. The Boy Scouts used to be a big deal. My uncle ran the Boy Scout thing back in the day. So like his Boy Scout troop, I forget what he was, but shout out to my uncle. But like he was super involved with the Boy Scouts. They ran the scavenger hunt.
Okay.
My grandpa, who was my stepdad's dad, was the street preacher who used to annoy the shit out of everybody as they walked past the old buildings.
And handed you little pamphlets about how you can write your life.
And he would give me $5, and I would go play games, which was always exciting. But
and that actually got you a ways.
Yeah,
then.
and how was I say? And
it's $5 like per game now if you're lucky.
I was gonna say, and like unless you're playing, I got it.
Ah, yes.
The bad I got it is 50 cents. The good I got it's $1 now. And
are you serious?
Or no, it was 75 cents last year, wasn't
man.
it? Yeah,
I don't know.
Getting up there, but I remember when it was like 3 or 4 games for $1. Like, what in God's name happened?
Yeah.
You know, and they had those like weird games. Remember the one that was like a trailer and they opened it up and it was almost like the lamest pinball game that you've ever seen. It was a wood board, and it was all like you'd shoot the ball up and then whatever lane the ball came down in, you got to take whatever was out of that. And like they had giant lighters and
wasn't there a game that was like 21 like that you had to try and get it down a certain numbered lanes?
That's a very, very old game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an old idea. But yeah, like they had all that cool stuff and there was that, and it's like for me to go see stuff like that now, I have to go to Gibsontown, Florida, and walk around the International Showman's Museum.
Yeah. Is that where you're planning on going?
It is.
That's pretty exciting.
That's part of the trip next May.
That'd be cool.
Gibtown's like Gibtown is the Carney name for it. But Gibsontown is where the guy who ran the World of Wonder sideshow, Bert. I keep thinking Burt Wonderstone. It's not Burt.
Well, and every time you say
Ward.
Bert, I think Burt McCracken.
Burt Ward. I think. No, that was Robin. Bert something or the other. Started it down there. It was just it was a Carney colony that came up because it was a good place to go in the off season. He bought the land, and then wintertime all the traveling shows they travel together. Most of the rides and food stuff,
Right.
they'd all go down there, and off season they'd hang out. There's big trailer park, and they'd hang out and they do their thing. It's its own little universe. And eventually, I was gonna say that sideshow still travels, but they only go to like 12 of the big state fairs, like New York State. But at some point he was like, all right, well, it's a sideshow museum because I've got all this, like, he just has all the stuff. He's been doing that since he started that sideshow in, like, I think the late 30s or early 40s.
Oh, wow.
And he's just been collecting stuff since then. So they have a museum. It's got gaffs in it. It's got all kinds of stuff. And as a way to, like, as a good way to make money, when you go to Gibson Town, when you get to the outskirts of town, there's one entrance and one exit. You pay $55 to get in town.
Holy shit.
That's it. And that's your way in, and you get to go check everything out. They do when new rides are made or sold, they do a convention or trade show there in Gibson Town, Florida. But the idea of Gibson Town is what American Horror Story, the third one or whatever, with the lobster boy and the carnival.
Oh, Freak Show.
Yeah, the Freak Show version of it.
4 or 5, I don't remember.
Yeah, the general idea of that is Gibson Town, Florida. Because why else would there be an off-season carnival in the middle of Florida?
Right.
Yeah, which I'm okay with. It was that was a really good show. Artistically, it was very good. I liked the look of it.
That was the first of the seasons that I watched, and it was pretty good. It
really
got us into it.
Yeah, and that's one of those shows that I like to watch, but I don't like to watch actively. Like, I'm not sitting here waiting for it to come out or anything.
The
like
last
that.
one was awful. I didn't like it at all.
Was that the?
We didn't even finish
Was that
it.
the Croatan or whatever?
Yes, it was awful. It was so bad.
Yeah, you and I was gonna say, I was just talking about that with you the other day, going down to the Outer Banks to go. Oh, turns out that mystery. They found English goods on a nearby island.
Oh.
And so they did end up at a different island in the bay. So it's really not that big a mystery.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. I still want to go to Roanoke and
that'd be cool.
Yeah, I want to go. I was gonna say I want to start scuba diving to get over my fear of scuba diving.
Yeah, I thought about you at the last auction. They had flippers and a mask, and like just a snorkeling mask and stuff. And I'm like, nah.
They're fun. They are like, and that's so weird that when I was down in the Outer Banks last year, water was crystal clear. Doing the flipper thing, like I did snorkel out there. It was super fun.
Oh yeah.
And then somewhere in there, something clicked, and I was terrified of even doing that again. Like,
oh, why?
Because of the shipwreck thing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The fear
that's
of
right.
shipwrecks. So I don't know what clicked, but something happened. So I'm trying to get over it. All I hear is dogs. Anyway, but is there anything else you want to talk about before I call it?
I don't know.
Before I call it, I gotta get off of here and go pee.
Yeah. No, I think I'm good. Considering I was nervous coming in here about what we would have to talk about. I think we've done pretty well.
Yeah, I was gonna say we talked It
was all over the board, but it was good. It all flowed well, I think.
It took me 8 weeks to convince you to come here, and I continued to tell you.
Well, it wasn't necessarily convincing. It was more of a scheduling thing, I think. That was my chair, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I promise it wasn't anything
I was gonna say, I think it
expelling.
It was scheduling. No, I thought it was somebody like saying your name for some reason. I was like, oh god, I got daytime ghosts.
Oh, weird.
Why don't ghosts ever come out in the daytime?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Eastern State?
No.
Oh, you've got to go.
Everybody keeps telling me that, but like, is it kitschy? Like,
I thought it was really cool.
Well, around Halloween, do they do like kitschy ghost tours?
Yeah,
or do they do honest ghost
I saw
tours?
there's like an event in November that they're doing like a ghost hunt type of thing, and I don't know. Like, I think that would probably be cool, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know that I'd be interested in doing that with a huge group of people. You know what I mean? Like if it were a small group of, 5 people or so, that would be cool. But
yeah,
I don't know how big the groups are going to be. And again, I don't know how goofy that might be.
Yeah.
But just going and touring it during the day, I mean, the place is huge. There's so much to see.
And it's got that like all those whatever, mentally stimulating.
Yeah.
Like it's just that.
Oh, it's
environment
beautiful.
The
It is
environment
so
of it
pretty. I mean,
cool.
it's all decrepit and aged and tarnished, but it's so cool looking. And I mean, the majority of it's an audio tour, so you can do it at your leisure, which is nice. And it's actually Steve Buscemi who narrates the whole audio tour, which is awesome.
Oh, that's the best thing.
It's so cool.
I love Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, but then after the audio tour's over, I mean, the whole thing is open for you to explore however you want to. Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's like $16, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, parking immediately around the penitentiary is free if you can find on-street parking, which we were able to. But $16 to go to just upkeep for that, I'll pay that any day of the week.
Oh no, that's
good.
That's awesome. I was gonna say there's another big one like that in Louisville too.
Oh really?
Which I'd like to go. At some point in our lives, I'd really like to go on I'd like to go on a Hunter S. Thompson road trip.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And stop in Louisville because he's Louisville's #1 son. And then
I almost mentioned that when you said you were planning on going to Florida.
What?
Because he was at Eglin Air Force Base.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And I think that's where he started writing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And then he did. I don't know. I haven't read any of his work in a while.
I know, me neither.
Like it gets to be that thing. Like I still find him to be a super fascinating human being.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And that was
and the fact that now they're going to open Woody Creek, like nothing has made me want to go out to Colorado more than that.
Oh dear God, yes. And sell Hunter Thompson weed and all kinds, like his own strain. He just grew. Didn't care.
Are you serious?
He grew his own.
Oh wow.
He developed his own strain of marijuana over the time that he was there. Like. How else do you survive? Because I always wondered that, like the amount of effort that he put into life. Like, I think he bought Woody Creek after Hell's Angels hit. All right, he bought it during the first publishing of Fear and Loathing, back because that was the early '70s.
The original Fear and Loathing, or Fear and Loathing on the campaign trail?
It was one of the two, because he used a book advance on buying the house.
Okay.
And then I remember that. And then he was like doing Rolling Stone articles and stuff like that. But like, I always wondered, that's one of the things that I've always found fascinating is that that kind of gig life. It's like, even if you write regularly, you're only talking about fucking $250 a week. Like, how could you fucking survive off of that? You know what I mean? Like, how could you live a life off of that? And I know that he had at one point at his highest, he had like a $1,200 a day
drug habit. Yeah.
Cocaine and
not to mention his shivas and his cigarettes and things.
Like, if it's costing you that much to live, what are you possibly putting out? Because due book royalties don't pay that much.
No.
And between he and Charles Bukowski, like Bukowski went from being a postman, a fucking postal carrier, to somebody starting a magazine dedicated to him because they loved his poetry so much.
Yeah.
That he ended up like paying him. He was getting like royalty checks of like $35,000 a month for like 1 year.
Yeah.
I get that. And then Bukowski died anyway. But
did they keep the double-thumbed fist structure up?
I have no idea. The one that they shot his ashes out of, I'm not honestly sure.
I wonder. I really wonder if they did. That'd be so cool to go see.
Legend of it. That's all. But I was gonna say that's always been one of the most interesting things to me on a personal relationship level between you and I is that I was your Dr. Gonzo and you've always been my Hunter S.
It was weird.
And that's how we diverged anyway. Like you so fucking got on the responsibility game well before I did. Like we
live vicariously through each other.
Yeah, and I drug it on until I was way too old to be doing dumb shit. And it's been weird. Well, I was gonna say I think that's why we've always meshed so well.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, thank you so much for your time. I'm gonna
go
before I poop the seat.
Sounds good.
All right. Cool.